All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to like and subscribe as we get started here. I figured since I've been on this huge butt rock kick ever since I did that 3 Days Grace video, I've been listening to a lot more just of that, like, those 2000s types of bands and everything. So I figured, what, why don't we do like a tier list and just see kind of where things line up. The only criteria is only like two things. Basically, how much I personally like it, and just only include bands from the 2000s. That doesn't mean the albums have to be in the 2000s, but just like, those all those types of bands and everything. So let's go ahead and switch this over and get started. Okay, so I just went through, I think I got like 30 different albums and everything. And we'll just get started. Obviously, S through F, and kind of see where I'll line things up. Some of these I got, and I'm like, I already have an idea of where I'll put them, but we'll kind of see, how everything shakes out. So let's start with, speaking of, I guess, 3 Days Grace, why don't we start with 1X? I'm going to put, 1X has to be S tier. That is the rule. That is one of the most definitive just albums of that era. And it's an album that is just, it's aged really well. Obviously with like Pain and Animal I Become and Never Too Late and Riot, 4 huge singles. I mean, there's other non-singles. It's All Over and Time of Dying and Let It Die. I mean, there's so much. I mean, this album is just insane with how influential it is. Let's see if I can bring some of this up here. Try to remember every single track. Yeah, there's really no weak songs on it at all. And I feel like that's very little debate about it being an S tier. Yeah, all these are great. This whole album's great. Very definitive album overall. So S tier, not much else to say about it. And then, okay, let's go ahead. I'll stick on 3 Days Grace for a bit. I'm going to put Alienation. I'm going to put it in B. B is like, yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, I like it. You revisit it and there's nothing wrong with it. No bad songs and everything. We'll see. I mean, it's still really new, so maybe it'll move up a little bit over time. But I was really nervous about the Matt and Adam frontman thing, but it's actually worked out, I think, really well. You'll see in a bit that I'm not a fan really of Matt as the vocalist, but I think how everything worked out and how they were able to construct all their songs and everything, him and Adam really complement each other super well. So yeah, Mayday was a good first single. There's songs that I probably like a little more than others, so that's why it's not quite like that 1X type of album. But yeah, Kill Me Fast is great. I think Death Wish is probably my favorite song. So yeah, I think we're good with that. Okay, I'm gonna put. Where is it? Oh, there it is. I'm gonna put Human in D tier. I think this album is, like I said, I'm not a fan of when Matt came into the band and stuff. The only song, and the reason why it's not even an F tier is because Painkiller is a good track. But other than that, it's really a 1-song album. I never liked I Am Machine. The opening track, Human, or the Human Race and stuff, I don't know. I never got into it. I saw them live once with Matt in the band, and I was just the whole time, I was just really wishing for Adam to return. So luckily that's happened. But during this era, definitely not my favorite. All right, let's go down here and let's do another S tier one. Sound of Madness, definitely S tier. This is kind of, Shinedown has really added a lot of different things to their sound, and it's, for the most part, I think it's worked out really well. But when Sound of Madness came out, they were still like, they started to kind of move away from kind of that more southern rock style you hear on like Leave a Whisper. But I think, yeah, just commercially it worked out really well. I mean, obviously with Second Chance was massive, but this is one where there's really no bad song. I mean, Devour, Sound of Madness, The Crow and the Butterfly, everything about it just is super great. I mean, I know they had a ton of singles on this album too, but yeah, it's They've never really released a terrible album. But oh yeah, then they did the deluxe with Diamond Eyes and everything. Yeah, super great album. All these are great. Call Me. Yeah, Call Me's fantastic. So hope there's no debate there. All right, let's do. I haven't done an F tier one yet. Let's go with. I'm gonna go with Skillet with Unleash. Skillet's really just become the most corporatized radio sellout kind of sound you can think of. Even at this point, this wasn't even the first album where I would have that opinion. I would say even after Comatose, which we'll get into, things already kind of started. And, I'm not even going to bother looking it up. There's really nothing else to talk about. I mean, it's just kind of a crap album, and really nothing that came out after it got any better. Okay, so, well, speaking of which, I'll do the first A tier. Is Comatose. This is like, especially if you grew up in the church youth group world, this was like your, never mind, basically. This album was huge. The band was hitting on all cylinders. There's nothing that's made me want to, maybe it's just a shy lower than S tier, but see if I can spell right. Okay, what am I doing wrong? But yeah, I mean, everything about it is good. Rebirthing is a great start. Opening track and Whispers in the Dark is great. The only thing I probably don't like about this album, and this is kind of more of a hindsight thing, is I know his wife, Corey, was doing the side vocals and everything, and I do think their sound got better with Jen doing that, starting with Alive, the album afterwards. So maybe, I hear her voice now and I'm kind of like from this album and before, and I'm like, yeah, you can tell just the quality just got a little bit better. She doesn't have a bad voice. It just kind of sounds a little odd. So, but other than that, I mean, yeah, they were doing pretty well during this time. Okay. Next up I haven't done a C tier one yet. Let's look. So let's go. I'm going to put Stain's Break the Cycle on here. I'm actually not a huge Staind fan. There's just something about them that I just kind of never really can fully be submersed into Staind. There's songs that are good. I like Outside. I like, It's Been a While. Unfortunately, this band has kind of been known more for their ballads than anything else. But yeah, there's just something about it. It's just kind of, his voice has always kind of been a little meandering to me, and it's just not really always been my thing. So it's always been fine. They've always just been one of the other bands that I would probably listen to, but I never really super gravitated towards them. So yeah, it's okay. It's not terrible. That's kind of what C tier is. It's like, it's all right. All right, let's do another one. Okay, let's just do another S tier. I'm going to put Seether's Karma and Effect. This album is super underrated. This is probably their most underrated album. Obviously, Remedy was a big track for them, but really, there aren't really any other singles that they had that deserved the attention it should have got. I mean, Truth is a great song. The Gift is probably one of the best, probably like a top 3 song for me. And just this whole album, I mean, they were kind of doing a little more. Their sound really changed after this album. Got a little more like mainstream and more poppy. There's a little bit more like nu metal kind of elements into it. And I don't know maybe how much of that changed when their guitar player, what's his name? Was it? Yeah, Pat Callahan left. He was on the first 2 albums. So I don't know if maybe that was a factor in them changing or not. I haven't really looked into that, but overall, this album, I mean, Because of Me is such a great opener, and yeah, every single one of these is great. You kind of got those kind of more grungy elements, but like I said, also the kind of more the heavy nu metal elements with it. So yeah, I really do love this album. This is one I can just put on at any point and just be completely just submersed into it. All right, so moving on, let's do. Wow, okay. I'm probably going to have more S tiers than I thought. Okay, well, let's. Okay, whatever. Let's just go ahead and just say it. Just get out of the way. Phobia has to be S tier. Again, this is kind of the 3 Days Grace of Breaking Benjamin, this album, which came out the same year, actually. So that was a good year. Good year for butt rock. Diary of Jane is just tremendous. I think they just really. This is really probably their just best overall produced album. Breath or Breathe and Until the End. I know I've always really liked that track. Topless is really good. So yeah, and I mean Breaking Benjamin's never put out a bad album. So even Breaking Benjamin at their worst is pretty good. But Phobia in particular just really hits that high. So yeah. They're kind of also probably one of the only bands that is more respected, like in the metal space, I think, because they tend to be more metal influence and more chuggy and things like that. And so I think that just adds a extra layer into their sound that sets them apart a little different from sounding too generic with other bands in their space. So yeah. And then let's go ahead and I'll do another. I'll just, I'm going to put 10 Years in F. I was thinking about putting it in D. I'm just going to put it in F. I've never liked this band. I've never thought that they're just really boring, super generic. And yeah, I know, I think this was like their biggest album, but it's like it was really even not even that big, I guess, for what it's worth. So yeah, I don't really care. And you know what? While I'm at it, let's go ahead and put Hinder. Hinder sucks. This band sucks. I've never been into like the stripper rock style. It's like taking, 80s hair metal and kind of dressing it up. And it's just, I don't know. I just feel like I need to take a shower after I listen to bands like that. They just feel, the sound and just their essence just feels so just grimy and gross. For some reason, Hinder, their song "Lips of an Angel" has kind of been like rediscovered as this big anthem ballad, and I just don't get it at all. The band sucks, and yeah, they never got better after this. So yeah, don't really care about talking too much about that. Okay, so let's do another. I'm gonna put "Saturate," Breaking Benjamin's first album, into C. It's a really good. This is probably their weakest album, but even your weakest album being in C is still pretty good. Kind of like with Seether, they kind of had a little bit more like new metal influence, and not that that's like bad or anything, but you kind of see that once, I don't have it on here, I don't think, but once Simple Design, or no, sorry, We Are Not Alone came out, they kind of transitioned into more of the sounds, that Breaking Benjamin sound that we know them for. This was kind of just a precursor of that. So, I mean, it's pretty good. A lot of the songs, there's not like a terrible song on it, but some of them do feel a bit like recycled. It's just kind of, like I said, just recycled riffs. And they kind of just blend together and don't really stand out. I think I remember this album being really long, like 14 songs or something too. I guess 13 songs. But yeah, I mean, a lot of this middle area, I remember it being pretty, just kind of like, okay, yeah, I've heard it by now. But Polyamorous was a great first single, and there are some good songs on here, so I'll put it at C. And then I'm gonna put, this might surprise people, I'm gonna put Ember at A. Breaking Benjamin's, as of now, still latest album, which came out in 2018. So this album is really great. This is probably their heaviest, and I love the mix. I love how much more like the drums really stand out, and just all the syncopated riffs they have. Psycho is really great. Red Cold River, of course. Blood is really good. Tourniquet. Yeah, Feed the Wolf. I mean, look, you might be able to justify putting an S, but I just don't think it quite has the influential appeal that Phobia does. And it kind of feels weird putting it on the same row as Phobia. So we'll put it at A. Great album. And yeah, hopefully they put something else out soon, because it's been quite some time. Okay, let's do Trapped in D. I don't really care about this album. It's kind of a 2-song album with Headstrong and Still Frame. Everything else, I mean, let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, I guess Echo is okay, but there's not a ton here that keeps me interested. And yeah, I think they got a little better, or I actually do like someone in control, but I didn't really add it in here. But this album, yeah, it's kind of, they built their whole career basically on one song. And yeah, you can kind of see why there's nothing else on here besides Still Frame. Still Frame is a good song, but other than that, there's not really much on here that really keeps you coming back. All right, I'm also gonna put All the Right Reasons in C. There's kind of like Creed and stuff. There's a big new love and appreciation for Nickelback. I've gone back and listened to this, and I'm like, gosh, this album is so like dirty. It kind of feels like a better produced Hinder in terms of a lot of the just like the lyrical content and everything. But there's so many weird songs on here, like Follow You Home, like the fact that it's called that. You're like, okay, Follow You Home. Let's start the album with that song. But obviously this was like their biggest album, and there was a lot of big songs on here. And yeah, I mean it's fine. I know that a lot of the Nickelback hate has really died down, and so just coming back and revisiting it, and just a 2025 lens, you're like, okay, it's probably not as bad as people would make it out to be, but that doesn't mean it's this like god tier level album. So we'll leave it at C. All right, now let's see, what else would I put in B? I'm gonna put Dear Agony in B. This one, but this album's good, and it probably feels like I'm being a little too harsh on it, but B is still is still a good tier. But I do like Ember better. Some of Dear Agony kind of it kind of runs together a bit too much for my taste. There's a lot of similar with like Saturate, but in a different way, just kind of a lot of running into the same stuff, which I mean, Breaking Benjamin does have a very distinct sound, and it's almost like, once you've heard a couple songs, you've heard most of them. But I know this one had, yeah, Lights Out is good. Some of these tracks in here, they just kind of don't really hit too hard for me. Obviously, I mean, Fade Away and I Will Not Bow and Give Me a Sign and Lights Out are great. And then most of everything else is like, yeah, that's fine. So when you kind of, put it on the scales of that, I think it averages out to B. Okay, I'm also going to do the same for Godsmack. I haven't done Godsmack yet. For Faceless, this is a pretty good album. I've never been like insanely like huge into Godsmack, but I know this is probably like their best album. They haven't put out anything. Well, Lighting Up the Sky actually wasn't really very good, and okay, I guess yeah, 1,000 Horsepower was kind of meh, but Faceless was good. With Serenity is like a great acoustic ballad, and I Stand Alone, and yeah, so there's Straight Out of Line is really great. So yeah, there's enough on here to kind of put it in B, but it's not like inside my favorite thing. So with that said, I'm gonna put these on the same tier. I'd probably give maybe Faceless a bit more of an edge, but the Oracle, it's kind of the same kind of feeling. This one's even like probably more heavier, I guess. Like there aren't any ballads or anything on it, and I mean, Crying Like a Bitch is good, and Saints and Sinners, and the Oracle song, the all instrumental thing, I think sounds really good. I know Love, Hate, Sex, Pain. I've kind of always hated that song. It's really kind of slow and just doesn't really feel like it's going anywhere. So maybe if they had done something different with that, maybe I would like the album a little bit better. But other than that, I mean, it's still decent. So I like it. Okay, I haven't done any Chevelle yet. Okay, I know this is probably overkill, but I can't help it. I have to put This Type of Thinking in S tier by Chevelle. This album is really, I think it's probably a bit better than Wonder What's Next. it's just everything just like, I think how the album goes from track to track just flows better. There's a couple weird things they do with Wonder What's Next about that I'll get into in a second. But yeah, I think yeah, Vitamin R is great, and the Clencher and Another Know It All is really great, and Still Running. Yeah, like literally all these songs are just, I can go back to any of them at any point and never be bored. So yeah, this album is really Chevelle at its best. It's kind of their last album before they kind of started softening up a little bit for the next few, and then they kind of started going heavy again. So kind of similar like with Seether. Okay, so why don't I go ahead and do? Okay, so if I put that there, I'm gonna put Hats Off to the Bull by Chevelle in C. Face to the Floor and Hats Off the Bull are obviously kind of like the big singles off it, and Face to the Floor is really good. Aside that, I know I like the song Envy. It's okay. Or I guess more than okay, but everything else is just kind of fine. There's kind of a bit of filler in here. And like I said, this is kind of when they were kind of softening things up a little bit. But yeah, but I mean, it's okay. It's not like my favorite album. I don't really go back and revisit it very often. And when I do, I kind of always feel a similar way about it. So then if I'm going to put that there, I'm going to put Wonder What's Next in B. This is a good album, but like I said, there's some weird, I think it's just overall, it's just a little long. Yeah, I mean, Sand the Pain Below, Closure, and The Red are great. I don't like that they put like Closure and The Red, which are like in the same time signature, in the same like BPMs almost back to back. That's always just like felt really weird to me. So there's a couple like weird things like that, but some of it maybe it's like a little forgettable. But aside from like the singles and like Family System and Comfortable Lie are also good. You kind of got like this first half of the album is really great, and then it kind of peters out a little more in a few of these other tracks. So, but I'd say B is pretty fair. Okay, I think that's the last Chevelle one. Okay, let's do, so I did Stained. I'm gonna actually also put Stained. Here, I'll try to keep this together. I'm gonna put Stained in C. This is their self-titled, their last album before the band like went on hiatus. This is like the classic album that broke the band. And if you haven't seen that documentary about it, you should. It is really funny. It's just like, I mean, you got like the same four guys who've been in the band for like over 15 years or so at this point. And you can just see just like over time, they've just like become such a different people. And then you put them all in a room together to make an album and everything just really falls apart. Aaron Lewis obviously has a very strong personality, and Mike Mushok has very distinct styles, and so you kind of had a lot of different sounds. They all wanted to make a heavy record, but wanted to go about it in different ways, and so they ended up just like recording the album completely separately because it was so toxic to work with each other. And this is also the last album that their drummer was in. John Wysocki, yeah, which he's passed away, unfortunately. So yeah, I'll put it in C. It's good. I mean, it is like heavier than a lot of their stuff before this, but I think maybe if there's also, they were running up against the clock really bad on having to finish it, and so I just wonder how much better it could have been if the dynamic was different and they had more time. But that's just how it goes. All right, and then moving on, let's do okay, controversial pick, but I don't care. Puddle of Mudd's Come Clean. I'm gonna put an A. I will defend this album. Probably, I mean, it is their best album. I know like half of it was on their record like before they got signed and everything. So they kind of just reworked some of the songs they already had. But I mean, there's really not a bad song on the album. At one point in my life, I would definitely put it in S, but looking back now, I'm kind of like, I don't know if I can really justify that. It's not as good as Phobia or 1X, but there are still a lot of bangers on here. I think Out of My Head is probably my favorite Puddle of Mudd song. Nobody Told. A lot of the non-singles are actually really good too. I mean, yeah, we all know Control and like Blurry and She Hates Me and stuff, but some of these non-singles hit just as hard. Basement is a bop. So yeah, I mean,
You can fight me all you want. And obviously it didn't score super well, I guess, but I don't care. It's an A for me. It's one of those albums. A lot of these top albums here are stuff where I would just like learn to play on guitar every song on the album, and Come Clean was one of those. Okay, let's go ahead and speed this up here. Okay, I haven't. Okay, well here. Okay, I'm gonna put The Sickness in D. I don't like Disturbed. There's not a whole lot for me to say about it. It's just a sound that I just get bored over. I mean, they've just repeated this album pretty much over and over, and I've never grown to like it. So I would say Stupefy is the only song that's keeping it from going to F. Other than that, everything else is just kind of meh at best. Dropping Plates is a really cringe track. So I mean, yeah, there's some weird stuff happening in this album, and it's just never been for me. So it's going in D. Okay, okay, we're almost done here. So let's do Papa Roach. I'm gonna put Infest in A. There's really nothing else, not a whole lot that could be said. I mean, this album's great. This album really, I mean, it's like still just some of these songs are still just as big. Um, with like Last Resort in particular. I think Dead Cell is probably my favorite song on this album. So they were really riding the like the new metal kind of rap rock side, which I guess it's not really like a butt rock album. So this one might be a little more might not fit with everything else, but you know they're definitely one of those bands that would totally go on tour with everything else I've already mentioned. So you know we'll take it. Broken Home is good too, and yeah. Oh, Between Angels and Insects, I forgot about that was on this one. Yeah, so it's good. I didn't. I kind of listened to this whole album a little bit later in life, so maybe I would have more of an attachment to it than when I was younger. But I think A is solid. Okay, with that, I'm gonna put Getting Away with Murder, honestly, at C. It's kind of weak, and Scars and the Getting Away with Murder song are good. Everything else is just pretty like bland. It's really like a two-song album. So, but the two songs they have are really good. So I'll put it at C. And then I'm gonna put Crooked Teeth at B. Honestly, if they had like a different album cover, maybe it would go up one. I really hate this album cover, but this is kind of started incorporating more like pop elements, but there's still some like more like heavy stuff in it. You know, for however you want to describe that. The song Help is really good, and you got like Machine Gun Kelly was starting to cross over into the rock scene and everything. So yeah, My Medication is good. Um, yeah, I think all around it, there's like nothing I hate on it, and every song is like decent, like at worst. So yeah, I'm gonna give it B, and then I'm gonna give Attention B also. This for Shinedown. This is like their first concept album, which usually like makes me not excited to hear words like that, but I think it actually worked out pretty well. All the songs, for the most part, are pretty good. There's probably a couple I could have gone without. I think I remember Creatures being a little boring. And just, you know, I might not connect with every single song, but yeah, I mean, well, that's, I guess, 13 full length tracks. It's starting to, you know, maybe be a little too long, but for the most part, I mean, yeah, Devil is really great. Black Soul is a really underrated song. It's probably the best song on the album. What was the Human Radio? Yeah, this one was really good too. And then I like how they do the transition and Get Up, and they use the same kind of melody in Special. You know, it's kind of part of the whole concept thing. They did a lot of music. They did a music video for every single one of these songs. Um, and so kind of just telling this overarching story and everything. And Monsters is a good song too. So yeah, I think there's enough here to bring it to B. Okay, two more. Okay, let's do Holding On to, or no, Finding Beauty in Negative Spaces. I'm gonna I'll put in B. I almost thought about putting in C. There's actually a bit on of some of this album that I'm not super in love with, but Fake It, Like Suicide, Breakdown, Rise Above This, The Fallen. There are some good tracks on here too. I think near the end of it feels kind of a bit just a little too samey. There's a couple like yeah, Walk Away from the Sun is good, and then kind of these last three. I think I remember these being kind of like, okay, yeah, we're kind of just doing the same kind of thing. It kind of drags on. I mean, oh no, Jesus Christ is a really good song too. I do like that one. But yeah, I mean, geez, when you're at 50 minutes, it's hard to keep people engaged, I guess, that long. So maybe if they trimmed it just a little bit, but you know, I'll leave it at B. It's still good. And then last but not least, I wasn't expecting this to be the last one, but why not? Let's do Saliva. I'm gonna put this in B also. There's nothing bad on it, and there's enough good on it to justify its position. Obviously, we all know. There we go. Click, Click, Boom. But there's a lot on this track too or on this album too. Yeah, After Me is a really good song. There's a lot of cool stuff on here. It's just one of those you just like pop on and you're just to like bob your head to basically the entire time. Superstar is a great opener. So yeah, I'm down with it. I'm gonna put it in B. So there you have it. This is it. I think this is well-rounded enough. And yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. Like I said, make sure to like and subscribe. Tell me all the areas I'm completely wrong on. And yeah,